Alright, I got another little video here I want to share and see if anybody has any ideas on it. I was up in Oregon this last week. I live in San Jose. You can look up at night and see about 12 stars. I was up in Oregon where you can look up and see all of them. I have long been an astronomy buff. I can pick out quite a few different constellations and different objects and things like that. Can generally answer questions about it that people have. No, that's not the Little Dipper. Anyway, they wanted us to go out, the people we were staying with wanted us to go out and look at the stars. They live in the middle of the woods. We went out, and sure enough, you could see quite a bit. You could even see, if you let your eyes get adjusted, you could even see the dust arms of the Milky Way. Faintly, but you could see them. Anyway, I'm standing there, and this guy points at something through the trees. He says, "What is that right there? I've seen that, several times before, and I can't figure out what it is." And I thought it was some star, or maybe a planet. I kind of got my eyes fixed on what he was pointing at, and it was an object that resembled a star, but it was, and I was looking at it through these trees, and there was no way to get a good clear shot of it where we were at. But I don't think that had anything to do with what I was seeing. So this object was moving, and if you hold your hand out, at arm's length, a full moon is about, I want to say it's about I don't remember the number, 10 degrees of the night sky. I know it's not that much. It's probably like 1 degree. But anyway, the width of the full moon. So this thing was moving about probably 5 to 10% of that width. And it wasn't like moving back and forth or round and round, or, it didn't have a consistent pattern. It was just it looked like a fly or a mosquito at a light. It was no brighter than any other star I could pick out. And again, I was looking at it through a tree, so that was one thing that affects my ability to figure out what it was. But it was definitely doing what it was doing, and it wasn't moving around in the sky, and no other stars, no other nothing was doing that motion. This was the only one, and it wasn't like twinkling like a star. I know what that looks like. I know what satellites look like. It wasn't moving across the sky like a satellite. If it were a geostationary satellite, which just sits at the same spot up there, it wouldn't have been moving. It was not an iridium flare. It was not a meteor of any sort. The thing that made it weird is he says he's seen it several times in that same spot in the sky. I went and tried to research and see if I could figure out what it was, and I came across maybe 15 different explanations of what people thought things that they had seen were. on astronomy websites, on message boards, on Reddit. I mean, all over the place. Nothing explained it. I don't think it was something in our atmosphere. It looked to be beyond our atmosphere, but it didn't behave like anything beyond our atmosphere, or in our atmosphere for that matter. Was it a UFO? To me it was, because it was an unidentified thing in the air. Was it a spaceship? I don't believe in that crap. So but let's say it was a spaceship. It didn't behave like any explanation or any description of anything I've ever heard. They all do have this certain, it came across really quick and stopped and sit there and hovered and then took off the other way, or did this or that, or you've heard 10 different explanations about UFOs. This didn't behave like any of those. So I'm at an absolute loss as to what it was. And I've seen, like I said, I've seen satellites. I've, read about them. I've seen videos. I've seen them in the naked eye, with my naked eye. I've seen them through telescopes. I've taken photos of the International Space Station. I kind of know what's up there. But this one perplexed me. And it's the only thing I've ever seen like that. Another explanation would be looking at something through the trees, and the trees moving and kind of making the light do funny things. You could see multiple stars through these trees, and none of them were doing it, and the trees weren't moving. It was dead quiet. There was no wind. There was nothing. So if any space nuts out there have any idea, I would love to know what it was. Living in California, we see lots of space junk. We get rockets that go off down south, and we see them up here. I've seen the trails from those. I've seen re-entry stuff before. You name it. Every single thing I can think of that would describe this or explain this away does not work. I'm not trying to be, spooky or creepy or anything, like trying to say I saw an alien, because I don't believe I did. But I would really like to know what I did see. So have at it if you think you know what it was. I'm all ears. Anyway, have a good rest of your Sunday.